Good afternoon, Mick.
Hey, Ben. Good to see you again, buddy.
Yeah, you too. You got some good news today with Mac coming in. Can you talk about how that developed and what that's going to mean for him and for the program?
Well, we've known for quite a while, to be honest with you. Because obviously at UCLA, admissions is the hardest place to get into. And for good reason. It's the best school in the country. I'm biased. But we've been working on it for quite a while. Because Mac's prep school season was in peril, he had already graduated from high school. So there was no point in him being away at school with a prep school season that may or may not happen. And being in our practice, in our nutrition program, our strength and conditioning program, and practicing with us, once he gets cleared medically and he's physically ready, is obviously much better for his development. I think you're seeing it across the country. We obviously posed the same thing to Will McClendon, who unfortunately they canceled the Las Vegas high school season super late, so there wasn't enough time to get him admitted. We talked about it extensively with Peyton Watson and his family. Obviously, they're still holding out hope that Polly will be able to play, and he can have a senior year playing one more year with his brother, who's a junior on that team. So we talked about it with all of our guys, and I think it's pretty prevalent nationally that anybody that could do it, instead of sitting at home, you're going to be better off developing. Now, I know you guys are going to ask, is Mac going to play? Like right now, Mac hasn't physically done anything in quite a long time. He has to go through medical things here to get to the point where he can even join our practice. Yes, he is here. But obviously, when you're coming from out of state, you got to deal with issues. Then you got to deal with UCLA medical. But the point of Mac coming is to get him from his family and his coaches is to get him ready for next year. Now, if you say, well, it's a free year, so everybody's going to say, but it would be a free year. We'll worry about that. Right now, he hasn't even been in our gym. You know, if we ever get to the point where he feels like he's ready and it's a free year and he wants to help his team, then we'll talk about it. But we're far from that point right now, guys. He don't know. He is not in shape. He doesn't know one damn thing that we do. He is far, far from it. But if we ever get to that point, whether it's February or whatever, it's something that he wants to talk about, that is, I'm going to support him no matter what he decides on that topic. So that's I just want to put that to bed before everybody starts asking me that. But he's nowhere near ready right now. He's not even cleared. And if he ever gets to the point where he's physically and mentally on the same page with our team, and it's something that he wants to do, then obviously I'm going to support him, and we'll go from there. But right now we're not even close to that point.
Tracy, go ahead.
Wow, Mick, you're really good at anticipating what we're going to ask. I mean, maybe you should just ask yourself all the questions. And take
I just figured, let me make it easy on you guys. So
yeah, it was good.
Tracy, we knew this was coming. So
yeah, sure.
Because here you got to apply, you got to go through it's a real process to get into UCLA.
Sure. It seems like your team's plays really well together offensively. There are some guys, just sharing the ball, knowing how your offense works, guys like Jules Bernard and Jaime and Juzang, who really pass well within your offense. Talk a little bit about that, what an asset that can be. And is that their natural feel, or is it also coaching and them getting to know what you're doing, or a combination?
I think it's both, and it's a comfort level. The guys have really tried to buy into making the extra pass. And to your point, Tracy, we're 11th in the nation, the highest of any team I've ever coached in offensive efficiency right now in the Ken Palm. And that's because of our passing. We haven't even shot the ball well yet from the three-point line from some of our better shooters. But we're passing the ball extremely well. I think that's why you've seen Jalen and Cody get a lot of dunks at the rim, spreading the floor, making the extra pass. The guys are trying on that end. That's one area that, we've got to continue to do a good job. And some of it is just believing in ball movement, to be honest with you. We've really tried to, since we came back together, show a lot of film and do a lot of teaching on the ball movement pass, not the assist, just moving the ball, move people. The more you move ball, the more you move people, the more a defense breaks down. And it's a lot, if we're going to shoot a higher percentage, it's going to be a lot easier to score. Too many kids they want to make the assist all the time. They want to drive and all that. Sometimes you just got to give it to the next guy, keep giving it to the next guy. For instance, like we talked to our guys about NBA teams that have played and that have great offenses. The old Spurs, the Warriors had an adage where they tried to throw 300 passes per game. The Spurs was give up a good shot to get a great shot. Don't hold it, shoot it, pass it, or drive it. So these are all things that we've been trying to teach the guys, but they've been working hard at it.
Mike, go ahead.
Hey, Coach. After the game, you said that you needed to work with Cody and Jalen a little bit under the basket.
Defensively.
Defensively, yeah. Can you talk about anything specific you want them to work on? And it seems like they have gotten a bit stronger from last year. It does look like they're able to not allow so many guys to back down into the paint. Can you talk about that?
Well, I would disagree. I think that it's an area where I've not done a good job this year. And nobody got in better shape because we were out for 6 months. It was tough to do. So, but they're both, both those guys didn't need to get stronger. But I think all of us as a team, Mike, we don't do a good job of being physical 15 feet and in. When I was at Cincinnati, my teams were repeatedly top 5 or top 10 in 2-point defense. And we didn't give up layups and we didn't give up free throws. We moved our feet. And it's just an area where we've really got to improve. We're 61st in the nation in defense right now. And it's something we worked extremely hard on in our practice today. It does. So I showed them some film, and my line is, it's not how tall you are or how big you are. It's how tough you play. You got to be willing to give up your body. And we got to be more accountable defensively. What's being taught is one thing. What's being done is a whole nother thing. So my job's to make sure it's being done. And I got to do a better job with that. We let the guys catch the ball way too close to the basket to really get detailed with you, Mike. We're giving up deep catches. That if we give up against Oregon, we'll have no chance because Eugene will get 40 on us. We let him catch it wherever he wants. So we're giving up too many deep catches, and then we're just not physical. We don't, what's called in basketball, building a wall or having a big chest. We abdicate and open our chest up way too much.
Ben, go ahead.
Is it fair to say that this can't be an elite team without Chris Smith playing at a high level? And if so, what's it going to take to get him back to that?
Yeah, he and I talked yesterday about that. We both agree with that. So, you're on the money there. Chris wants to help the team, and at times he feels lost in the offense, and therefore he'll try to force a play. So it's twofold. He can't do that. He can't just force because he hasn't been involved, and then I have to get him more involved. But to be honest with you, teams are being physical with him, Ben, and he's got to get fouled or finish when he gets in mid post in the lane. He's playing off 1 foot too much. He's got to get fouled or finish better 10 feet and in. But it's both of us. He can't force when it hasn't come his way, and I got to make sure I get him more involved in our offense.
Tracy?
When you have an offensive player like him, is it easier to have someone who really forces it to bring them back down as opposed to Chris, who you're trying to make him assert himself more and it might not come as naturally to him?
Yeah, it's an interesting question. I think he's changed. I don't think he's non-assertive anymore. I think he's trying to he's a team guy. He's a great guy. And I think I got to help him figure out where his spots are. And like I said, though, I think when we've gotten it to him towards his spots, he's got to score or get fouled in the last few games. And I'm talking about where he's below the foul line. He's fading away entirely too much. Teams are being physical with him. He's got to put a foul on that guy. When that guy's being physical with you, you've got to use it against him and get yourself to the foul line. I think he's trying to jump over people and take harder shots, and therefore the defense wins. So it's just, again, it's my job to coach him through that. But I think, me getting him involved to where he doesn't have to force to get himself involved will help him as well.
Final few questions for Coach here. Ben, go ahead.
Weird stat, Jaime making 46.2% of his 3-pointers, but only 59.3% of his free throws. How can you be such a great 3-point shooter, struggle so much at the foul line?
I think he's made 6 or 8 in a row to get it up to 59, Ben, to be honest with you. He just had a bad stretch early where he played all those minutes and got tired, and then it got in his head. But I think we got his situation solved at the foul line. And that's from our last games, Ben, and from our practice charts.
Coach, you talked about what you needed to do against Eugene. Expand on he's at 18 points a game. He's scoring from almost wherever he touches the ball. Expand a little bit more about that in Oregon overall.
Well, he's a problem, Trace. I don't know if you've seen him. Have you seen him play?
I have. Yep.
Yeah, he's a problem, right? I mean,
matchup problem. Yep.
He reminds me of Larry Johnson. He makes little over 1 3 a game, and in the low post, he is so under control, and he's always on balance. He can bump you off and score. He can go up and under. He can find the open man. He's right now. It's not even close. I mean, he's the best player in our league. It's not even close. I mean, if you've watched early basketball, I mean, it's a hands down. In fact, if you gave me 5 guys, 5 picks in college basketball, I haven't thought about it, but I guarantee he'd be in my top 5. I'd pick him. If you let me take 5 guys to go play a game, there's no doubt I'd take him. He's that good. So he's a big time problem. You got to limit his touches and try to make him work for everything. That being said, obviously they're a team. They'll start off pressing as the game goes on. They're going to press more and more. They're going to deny Tiger. Obviously, you can't turn the ball over 23 times and then get your shot blocked multiple times. We gave up 30 possessions and still scored a lot of points against them last year. So if we take care of the ball, I like our chances. But that's easier said than done against Oregon. They have multiple places, and they're a very athletic and older team, right? Hardy's 5th year, Figueroa's 5th year, Eugene's and Williams transfers that sat out. So those guys, I mean, they don't really play any young guys. They're a veteran ball club. And Williams is really good to mention, to wrap up the Oregon transfer from Duquesne. He can average 7 rebounds a game, and he's a 3-point shooter. People love guys like that. He can knock it down. He can put it on the floor a little bit. And like I said, he's their leading rebounder with Dante out. So he might have been anyway. So they're really athletic, and it fits right into Coach Altman's style with the way they switch everything on defense for the most part, and the way they like to pressure you. And I didn't even mention Duarte, who's going to probably play in the NBA.
All right, final question here for Coach. Ben, go ahead.
Circling back to Chris for 1 minute, and I know you kind of touched on this, but the psychological factor of him, obviously he wants to do well and show that he's NBA ready and kind of could potentially snowball. How do you get him out of that kind of rut of just accepting and moving on? Because he had made a lot of progress in that area last year.
Yeah, it just got about look. One thing I would tell Chris and every kid trying to get stats are irrelevant. Like Lawrence Frank, Rob Pelinka here in LA run teams and pick draft picks. They're not looking at your stats. They got a lot more talent than to be able to just look at your stats when they're they're making decisions on which player they're going to pick. You got to make the right play and be a good player. That's all Chris has got to worry about. Making the right play, defense, rebounding, finish better, take care of the ball. You know, he's got to play a lot stronger when he's 10 feet in and get fouled because people are really pressuring him. Just worry about making the right play and giving tremendous effort and being an all-around player. Can't worry about statistics.